Okay, here we go. Recording. All right, so I might be a little distracted. Elliot has wedged himself in behind me on the chair, and it's kind of a tight spot. All right, hello, Wendy. Okay, so the 2-point interior. So Donica, what are you doing for what exactly what does your 2-point interior look like?
I have to admit that it doesn't look like anything yet.
Okay,
I have.
so what is do you have a plan for it?
I think I do. I think I'm just gonna do my family room
Okay,
because I'm just going around the house drawing my.
okay, but this is like the observed drawing?
Yes, because we could do observed one, correct?
Right, yes, you could. Yep.
I
Okay.
think with the shadows and everything, it's
Oh, yes, that's yes, so the assignment is to either invent or draw, but have to you have to really fully shade it.
yes. I mean, I know I've been shading all of the drawings because some.
You're fine in terms of the shading is concerned. So, all right. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make I think what I'll do is draw like a little interior, and then and then I will demonstrate the shading. All right. So if I make this, so Wendy, we're talking about the the need to keep your vanishing points and 2-point way apart, like far apart like this. And I know I've mentioned this in class. If you you could work on a larger sheet than the 9 by 12 sketchbook paper if this gets too small for 2-point perspective. If you choose that, the all right. So if I put my corner here, I don't want to make this too tall because if I'm going to come out here with this, no, there, there, that's better. And then here, there, that's better there. Something that you can do if you have if this seems like it's going to just take up too much of the drawing, like this wall coming forward, you can make a corner here. If it's either like the room is kind of has an L shape, or it's a say it's like a hallway corridor there, and you could say this is just like that. And then this would come down here. It will at least give me a little extra space to work with. Like that. Okay, coming up with some artwork here on the Right, so in perspective, I think I drew this, sort of the idea of putting up like some artwork right here, taking up that wall, and I just had the idea to make this like a fine art gallery. Corner. There. Mentioned the lighting. Usually have track lighting up there because it's a little more flexible than having fixed canisters. Okay. Here. Extend that lighting. There. Good. Okay. So pretty quickly I can start to break down a space here. And if you were to sit down to decide the type of space you want, sketch out a floor plan, like say if I were to do that and decide here is my here's the space I'm drawing. Okay. Yeah, benches aren't normally so close to the artwork. If some people sit here, they'll completely block the view of anyone who else wants to see it. I think maybe I'll push this. There. Yeah, maybe I won't do a gallery. Maybe I'll just make something right there. When you start drawing, it's probably not the time to think about what you want to make the art, what you want the image to be. Well, let's just brush this off and make a decision here. Okay, so one thing I want to remember to point out here, horizon line is, let's say it's 5.5 feet, or I'll say 5 feet. From the floor, that corner's not really sharp. Okay, so from any place on the floor up to the horizon line is 5.5 feet. So if you're like here, you're closer to the viewer, so that is going to be longer. Here is 5 feet there. If you know this is 5 feet, you could approximate for, it's not enough. 5 feet, 4 feet, 3 feet, 2 feet, 1 foot. And then you have 0 for the ground, or for the floor, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so like a 9-foot ceiling, if from where your horizon line is at, this line should be a little bit longer, below the horizon line than it is above, just as an approximation. So I haven't used a scale and measured anything, but I can figure it out. Good. And then 1, 2, 3. 3 feet. Let's say I'm going to have a piece of furniture right here. I would go over to the wall, up to the 3, and then back out. Right on the, this is like an awkward bit here where the top edge of this piece of furniture almost, if it aligns with that corner of the wall, I will do something to make sure that they don't. I'll just move one of the lines. Because if you have two edges in exactly the same place in the drawing, but they actually are meant like they show different depths, this could end up looking really like hard to figure out. It might end up looking like a mistake. Good. There. Again, what is with the like edges like overlapping? That was a coincidence because I just made that arbitrary scale for that picture. Okay, that too. Approximate and sloppy. Okay. Good. And so I kind of have the box of this piece of furniture, which right at the moment I think we might call it a sofa. It's kind of shaping up to look like one. Okay. All right. I'm going to give it a, raise it a little so I can, there's room for it to stand on feet or stand on legs. There and there. Okay. And so here you will locate a reference image for a specific piece of furniture for that to be. With who, and you know, I will often ask you who the manufacturer of a piece of furniture is if it's in your drawing, but I don't, you know, I don't recognize it. I don't recognize everything, so so it's good for you if you can always identify what you're putting in your drawing. Okay, there. So this is just kind of like a box so far. Okay. Take this out of here. This frame. In general. So, you know, you can, I can draw, I've drawn a lot, I've drawn a lot of furniture, looking at furniture, and I'm kind of at a point where I can draw something that looks realistic and plausible as something manufactured when I'm not, you know, I'm not looking at anything. Stuff before, so this is the back corner of the outside. I don't want to draw the edge of the cushion up to that because that leaves no, like there's no, then like you're not accounting for the thickness of the arm here or for the thickness of the back cushion that has to be in there. So I'm just going to approximate that there. I want to make sure I get like the two edges, like vertical edges here, and then the edges receding in perspective toward the vanishing point on the right. So two edges there, so that you give it some volume. You need to like show the different planes of the side, the top, and the front. Okay. Corners there. Two. So the bottom of this leg to the vanishing points. It's a really short edge, but it's got to, you can't just make it like flat on the bottom like that, or really pointy like that. If the vanishing points, it's like if the edge is actually supposed to go like that, you want to watch out for making that look too pointy. And I say that because it does happen. I see accurate perspective everywhere on the sofa except down here with some drawings, and it's just because I gather it's just that you forget that that also needs to get perspective. Okay. All right. Good. Good. Artwork, if your picture frame has depth to it, so it's going to be a side to the picture frame. So this little edge right here, these top and bottom edges of the side go to the vanishing point. So that's it's an important detail. It sometimes gets missed. That's why I bring it up. This one too. Vanishing point. And like going to be a surface for the front. Surface on the front is the only one you see on the rest of them. There. Okay. Here, so I stop that short. I got this here. Foreshortening of the top edge of the back, that's challenging. Okay. Right. Track lighting up here. I wanted to draw this again. Oh, that's awful. There. So this right there is same as the legs going to the vanishing point up to that little edge. Okay, and then the like track lighting, if you look up, you'd have to look it up like a little cube that holds it in there. Clear out a little bit. Yeah, that's a little, it's actually not, shouldn't flare out that much. That's too clunky. You can, I mean, they come in all kinds of shapes. I have some. My place here still has track lighting that was installed back in the '70s, and the canister, these like little like spotlight, um, these like uh, luminaires up here are they're just rectangular. Um, here it goes to the end. Try to draw one of them. Just have this kind of cool rectangular shape, rectangular form. Um, so at first I saw them when I moved in here, like, but then the more I looked at them, the more I appreciated that it's probably be pretty hard to find. It might be hard to find track lighting that looks just like this. Okay, that attach in there. So this gets a little vague. I think it's sometimes with finer small details you can make it look like it, but not necessarily get everything. Okay, good. And then need another one. Actually, if I want this, that, yeah, like this one right here is centered, just about centered over. Painting maybe just a little bit over to one side. Um, yeah, I'm just going to take this one out because it's actually just kind of pointing in this at this spot, which is not very useful. This one's down here. I think maybe I'll turn one. Oh, it's too long. Go. Okay, turn a little bit angle. All right, so put those in so I can draw a little, maybe some lighting effects on that wall. Okay. A little cleanup right here. Any questions so far? clean this up before I do much shading there. That's okay. This is a little all right. So I think I'll, some of this shading. I'm using a darker, soft graphite pencil so that it shows up pretty clearly. But I think for the more subtle shading, I'd go with something lighter. This is just a regular #2 pencil. It's HB graphite. Some pencil I've had sitting around for a long time that works well. Light. Let's see, there's a just say that light is. Okay, already starts to give us a little bit of contrast and some better three-dimensional appearance. So if the light's on here, I'm just going to say there's like more light there, and I'm just going to darken the wall with a sort of like a little bit of an arc there. Also over here, if I should have done the left side first, so that I'm now resting my hand on some more finished shading, but that's okay. Be careful. do a little. The middle of the wall tends to be the lightest spot. Okay. Okay. So some of this, I'm still going to come back and detail some of this shading. Like here, like on the side of the arm, if there's, I'm going to assume there's light, seems like a little bit of ambient light coming from above, and I want to show the volume, a little bit of volume on the arm. I'll shade it more at the bottom. And even smudge that a little bit. There. There. Good. Good. Bad. Come up and suggest maybe a little bit of texture to the upholstery fabric. Okay. Good. A little bit of a shadow under the frame there. Extend that and that. Okay. And some shadow underneath. Here, this shading, I'm going to try to keep it going, like the line, like the angle of this, I'm trying to make it go to the vanishing point a little bit at least, so that it looks like it's actually like to emphasize the horizontal orientation of the floor in perspective. Okay. Good. That better. A little bit of the seat cushions sometimes project out a little bit. So just maybe a little bit of shadow right there. Get the edge of this. This seat cushion projects out just a little bit. You can get the little bit of the side edge of it. There. That is good. Okay. And the ceiling should have some shading on it. Just something so that it's not blank. Usually, like walls and ceilings are darkest closer to the edge. But I would suggest you look at a wall or a ceiling to see what you see. You look at like where is it darkest, and you will see it if you look for it. Focus. Yeah, that's a little bit messy. I think I might sometimes if you go back and erase lightly, you can lighten something and but erase more like you're trying to draw it, not just remove it. And you might end up with something that, like, after you erase it, it might end up looking the way you want it to look when you might not have meant to do it that way. Shouldn't worry too much about that. Good. Oh, that's a lot darker. Same thing at the top. Okay, so I'm just punching up the line weight on the edges of the architecture. I might do the same thing here. Into the sofa, especially where it cuts in front of the wall, just to separate it a little bit. You don't have to go out like the same line weight all the way around. because you might end up making it look kind of cartoony and flat if you just put a really heavy line around everything. I really just use it for emphasis. And I'll often like change it, like I'll press harder as I draw the line, and I'll make it look like it's transition on the line. Okay, pretty good. So artwork, what do I want for artwork? Draw some of my own artwork, I guess. So, okay, undo. Here. Okay. There's my artwork. Okay. That's okay. This is, I guess this track like this in the wrong spot is regrettable, but that's why you should plan this out and just even like if I draw the track, I just have to think about where I place it based on, like from here, if I go to the vanishing point over to the wall and then down, closer to the middle of the painting here, if I do that, I go over like, to the wall. The spotlight is sort of directed at this spot. It could be turned. No, I think I'm going to put it back in and turn it so that it's actually angling down towards the painting, not pointing straight at the wall. That way that, well, this ceiling doesn't look so terribly scarred by my ghost image of the light. Okay, some of this, you might smudge it. Sometimes sometimes you can get some subtlety in shading with smudging that you can't get just drawing with the pencil. There. Okay. Good. And then an alternative to pencil shading is to use a marker. Zero. Spinning a little bit away. So N1, 0. All right, so marker covers fast, as you know. And it's going to blend this and make it look a little bit more uniform. It is going to make, it's going to darken, the graphite will darken the value of the marker. So it's, the shading I get is actually going to be darker, but that's okay. There. And the marker can make this go a lot faster, which is one of the reasons to use them. And it also like it's going to make that. It's going to blend the shadows and make them look more realistic. So it'll often give you a better sense of, better imitation of volume. Hey. Okay, this N1, so that was N0. N1 is darker, stronger. Okay. Okay. Good. That is pretty good right there. for this little area in this drawing. So it's not beautiful, but oh well. Oh well. There. Yeah, that's shaded pretty well. If this sofa is darker, then I can take I mean, something I can do is I can take this. This is actually it has N1 and it's an old N2, and I have a refill of N1 gray. Make these lower surfaces a little darker. Because if it's a darker object, then overall it has to be a darker, like the shadows have to be darker than lighter objects. So I can just shade this and make it look like it is. Maybe it's if it's in a darker color, maybe a darker gray, but this is all just black and white, so could be blue, could be a green sofa. That I don't know. I'm just doing this in black and white. To that. That's pretty good. What do you think? So if I know I'm going to use marker on this thing, then I'm probably going to show, I'll exercise more restraint when I'm shading with pencil, because I know if I know the marker is going to go down there, the marker is going to just cover more quickly, then you don't have to necessarily shade everything really carefully in pencil and then go back over it in marker. I'm going to make this picture frame darker. For a darker picture frame on my artwork, I think it frames it better. Good. It's a bit strong, but it's not out of the question that you'd have something that would show up with that kind of contrast. I'll just commit to this here then. Give them both a darker picture frame. Okay. Could have some darker areas in the purple too. All right, I think I'm going to stop with that drawing. I could keep going with fussing, fussing with all kinds of things, but I think that's a good illustration of the drawing and the shading. The example on that assignment document has a much more sketchy shading, so I don't mind if it's a little bit if it's sketchy, since this course is sketching is in the title of the course. So yeah. Any questions about this?
We can do everything in pencil.
You can do, yes, you can do it all in pencil. I did not specify marker for this assignment, so I will not add that right now.
When will we need markers?
Next week.
Do we need it for class?
We will be
Or just
working,
homework?
yes, in class we'll be working on these, which are basically like perspective drawings, like a little design project.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so that is that. So yeah, this is the kind of thing where if I settle in and start detailing, I can get really fussy and tighten it up a lot, which is not necessarily the goal of the course or the assignment, but sometimes you just want to make it look like if I can like sharpen the edges and get better contrast, then I get a better illusion of 3 dimensions. So, but the main thing is like if this being this is freehand drawing. We had with if you do all this freehand, you will develop better control, and that is really important. And also you'll become more confident in using it. So it would be really a shame if you learned how to draw like this, and then you didn't you needed it, but you didn't feel confident, and so you just acted like you didn't know, like you don't know how to do this. Having the practice and just being able to know how to make something look right, even if it in like a college course you're taking a lot more time than you would in a professional setting. Okay, I'm going to stop because that's done, and I'll just I'll goof it up if I don't stop.